Hello guys, my name is Wojciech Asztamborski and today we are going to talk about how to create movie with AI. Because I'm an IT architect, I will approach to this topic primarily from the IT perspective. You will feel it. Today we're not talking about banking, not about the financial sector, but it will be still about the AI, but in a very funny and I would say easy to understand way because there will be no IT in the sense that there will be no development this time. Okay, today we are going to cover three things. Um, First, I will start with the movie itself. I will show you the final result and explain how it had been created. So what you can see right now is the movie. Can even try to play the play button and then let the movie and it goes on. Then I will jump into the tool that generates the individual scenes here and orchestrate the whole process. And finally, look we will look at the project itself. So if you want to manage all the small pieces like the scenes, storybooks, storyboards, and so on, you need something that brings everything together. Since, as mentioned, I'm IT freak, I'm IT guy, I will show you how to manage all the smaller things as a project by using Git Repository within on a GitHub portal. Uh, okay, so the movie itself, I'm going to play this a bit. It's as you can see, the movie itself is available on the YouTube. You can feel free to watch and explore the story. It's not so long, and the story itself is about a question, and the question who didn't want to grow up to become a real answer. And this is the philosophical story created by my friend Edyta Krukowska, and you can watch this movie freely and explore this on the YouTube, so I think you will find a lot of fun. But from our perspective and this session perspective, we are interested in how to create something like this by using tools that simply weren't available for us at least 5 years ago. Today, we have very mature IT tools and companies providing powerful solutions behind the scenes. So let's see how we can use them together. The original language of the story is Polish. So if you don't speak Polish, you may find difficult to understand what they are talking about, but still you can, of course, play with this all the subtitles that automatically translate this movie into the English, at least from the text perspective. Oh, okay. So how we actually create all the small images um, and video clips that we can see right now on the YouTube. Behind the scene, to create all these things, I'm using PixVerse. PixVerse is an application that offers free credits, and let's go jump directly to this tool. It's there. So as you can see, there is URL that provides us to the project. And what you can see right now, you can see that we have the project itself, which actually is a movie. So PixVerse, as mentioned, provides the free offer credits. By default, you can get the daily credits, I think 30 for free, which, as mentioned, refreshes daily. In my case, I just make small investment and bought a package of the tokens, I mean credits for $10, and it was enough, almost enough for me just to create the whole movie itself. Um, from this project perspective, as mentioned, I'm using the a little bit paid version, but this is something that I'll say is not a huge, I think, effort and huge investment. Um, okay, in order to generate videos,
zegarki, ale
so we can think how this actually kitchen works. In order to
nikt nie miał
generate the
czasu.
video, you have to play it with these small actually chunks of the, I would say, mm, environment like this one. So you have to have prompt. And this prompt, this is something that shows all the details that allows us to generate video. So you have to provide information about the image itself. I mean the scenes that should be represented, about the animations, narrations, dialogue if it appears, some sound effects, of course, and the prompt illustration that describes details of the behavior of the scenes and so on, and of course animation prompts if you want to have control over the dynamics of the scene. Currently, you can see the small pieces. I mean, this small piece and this small piece of the tool allows us to generate a small video. It takes 8 seconds and generates an image in the resolution of 540p. Once I hit this button, it will generate the scene. I mean, this small scenes for 8 seconds, and once this is generated, I can download here and save on my hard disk. Of course, as long as I'm using the free version, and the downloaded version will contain the watermark, and it was one of the reasons that I wanted to, let's say, buy the standard version for $10 to get to simply avoid this watermark and actually get the credits. For $10 I got 1,200 credits, so I could just use freely to generate my images. Okay, so one of the challenges that we have to bear in mind that even if I provide information like this one, yeah, that I want to generate image like this picture of the town, I want to make sure that I'm consistent. Consistent across all the follow-up scenes. So in order to do this, I'm creating something called Storybook. So you can see it here. So Storybooks, this is something that divides the whole sequence of the scenes into the very consistent outside landscape. And this small picture of the town or the city, this is something that I'm using here literally as an input to the prompt. So in that case, when I'm talking about some image, I don't have to play with text. I'm just using literally the image that I am using as a reference. So the image itself, which was original part of this storybook, I've extracted and copied to my project. So it's literally here. So I've uploaded this image, and once uploaded, I can use it as a reference with my prompt. So small trick, but very helpful to stay consistent. If we want to play it with characters and to make them consistent, we have to make sure that we have something called reference characters. And as example of the reference characters, we have reference character sheets like here. So the main character for the whole story is Clara. Clara is a woman who is working on the office and is helping other questions. Okay, she is helping questions to become real answers, but she has an issue. Her own question doesn't want to become an answer. Actually, the question itself doesn't know how to grow up to become an answer. This is the whole story in the shortcut. But from the technical perspective, we have to remember that we have a character. We have the woman, and this woman has to stay consistent across all the movie. Therefore, we prepared something like the character reference sheet to capture all the pose of the characters, and then once we create the storybooks, we can just use the reference of the Clara and the question and the managers and other characters, and to put this to some tool that generates the storybooks, like here, just to make sure that between these all small scenes, the character itself is consistent. Now it's a little bit kitchen. So how we can create this character sheet? This is very simple thing, because actually all of these things we have to maintain somewhere, and this is something that brings us to Git repository. So as you can see, we have information about the Clara, and for the Clara, we have to go to something like, yeah, our project. Um, so in our case, my case, I've created a project on the GitHub repository, and this project contains everything that is required to generate this video. Maybe apart from the canvas itself on the PixVerse that generates all the scenes, but all the inputs are stored here. So you can find here a couple of folders. One of them, there is production folder, which contains very useful Markdown files. And one of them is the character list. So we have character like the Clara, and Clara has all details about her look and feel, like the hair's face, wardrobe, and palette of the colors that are supposed to be used in order to play with these characters. So once I have this piece of text, I simply copy and paste to the chat GPT and ask, let's take this prompt, take this information and create an image that would be the reference character for this person. So once I just put this into the chat GPT, I get the character like this. So starting from this moment, I can take this reference and use to generate images. So I can just simply take this line and link to the box that simple make a link between the prompt and the reference character. Of course, to play with these characters, maybe not one but more, we have to have more advanced models to do this efficiently. So this is a tricky part a bit. But still, once we have the storybooks, then it becomes quite consistent. Um, okay, so let's stay a bit with the project itself. So in order to create this character list, and in this story, Clara is not only the one character. We have Clara, we have the question, and the question itself is another main character in this movie. And because question doesn't want to grow up, and she play with this question and struggling with across the whole story. We have also manager, which actually who is actually part of the story as well. So for all these characters like the managers, we have also images like Clara. So for instance, once we have the manager, we can find this manager here, and this manager is presented here on the screen. Actually, we can find this guy within the story itself. So if we go to to our movie, actually the movie is still playing, so you can find this gentleman here who is in her errands waiting for Clara because she's a bit late, and so on and so on. Okay, apart from the apart from the actually character list, the main text file here, this is the storyboard. The storyboard itself contains all the scenes in sequence across all the movies. So right now for the sequence number 1, we have 10 small scenes, and each of the scenes here represents a single image. And for the sequence number 1, which embraces 10 of the scenes, we can find actually all the inputs that had been used to create the storybook. Actually, the storybook itself was also created by the ChatGPT by simple taking this text and copy and pasting into the ChatGPT, asking for the storybook to be created based on this input. Okay, so in terms of the other files that will be interested itself, the main file that had been used at the beginning of the whole story was the storyteller itself. So we have simple MD file which represent the storyteller created by Edyta Krukowska. And as you can see, the story was not so big because it contains a couple of lines. But at the end, actually, it had been extended to the movie that contains 30 minutes. And the funny thing is that the author of the text was not even aware that I am going to actually turn this into the movie. So, and this is good because actually we can do the same thing with any story. It doesn't have to be adjusted from the beginning to become a movie. Um, so, and this is about the text. We have actually more files, but the most important file is the storyboard itself and the character list that we are using to create the characters. And apart from this, we have images, which contains the references to the characters, and we have storybooks. And storybooks, this is something that we can also find in the PixVerse, and as mentioned, so all the information that we are using within the project itself on the PixVerse, we keep also as a part of the Git repository. I know it's a binary file, I shouldn't use it, but still, it's not too much, so I decided just to keep binary file within the Git repo. Anyway, okay, so we have video, we have animations and the scripts that describes everything. I mean input for the tool that generates the AI video. But the last thing that we have to remember is that we have also audio. Audio, this is something that I am using very heavily. So in order to create the narrations and the dialogues, I'm using the 11 Lab tool, which is the best and hands down the best tool right now on the market to create that creates the voices. So it plays with the emotions, with the different voices and so on. So I definitely would recommend this to use by everyone. Uh, I have also the small soundtrack, and this is one the caveat that we have to remember that it's a bit difficult to find the soundtrack that I can use freely for the movie like this one. So I decided to use the soundtrack from the PixBuy portal, which contains free to use MP3 files that we can download. Sorry, it's here. Um, but yeah, but one of the things that we have to remember that apart from the sound itself and the music itself that plays behind the scene, we have something like the content ID registered. And once we decided to upload our video into the YouTube and to make this public available, then this content ID became active immediately, and YouTube identifies that okay, the author of this music actually would like to okay be involved within the whole discussion. I mean, right now I'm waiting for the next 3 weeks to clarify the claim from the company that represents the author. But still, I think I'd say this licensing issue will be not an issue actually in 3 weeks. Yeah, so this is the small caveat. The last thing that we have to remember, um, this is not very difficult thing to understand and play. The whole exercise took me 2 weeks to learn and to form whole the project, and finally to get up with the final YouTube video with 30 minutes, and the cost was about 10, maybe $15, which was not too much, and I would recommend to play with this freely because there is a lot of fun. And the next movie will be much more better because I know that right now I know how to play this efficiently with the better consistency, and I have actually more ideas how to do this much better. Um, the last thing. So as you can see, we have audio, images, and so on, video itself. Um, we have also prompts. And with this Git repository, you can find prompts, including the prompt that will turn this story, any story, into the storybooks and the scenes. So I think this is something that you can find useful if you would like to not play with this video mastering skills from scratch, but simply try to leverage on something that AI can help you to play with. Um, yeah, so it will be all. And I would strongly advise you guys to play with this. And the story itself is, I think, really good. So please feel free go to the YouTube and try to listen and watch with pleasure. Thank you guys, and see you next time.